Login accepted.
Figure out as many vulns as possible, and write that report. And of course, pen testing itself is a very business-oriented thing. And so as much as it is fun to just hack a network, break in, find as many things as possible, you have to ultimately, at the end of the day, report what you find to your client in a very professional and business-like manner. Not only this, you have to explain it in a way that your clients will understand, and more importantly, understand the severity of what you found and how to fix it. That is what this competition is, and luckily, you're not alone when competing. You have 5 other people on your team, along with 2 alternates to help you out, help you find any information regarding your client before that actual engagement. So, as I said, you're on a team. So here's our general team structure for the competition. There's me, the captain. I'm Marshall, by the way. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Marshall. I'm a 3rd-year CE and the captain of the CPTC team. Next, we have a business lead. The business lead is really there to provide the business value to your client. Since again, pen testing is very business oriented, you need someone to convey your technical information to your business oriented clients. Of course, the captain also has to do that. The captain's main role is to act as the main point of contact between your pen testers and the client. And then finally, you have the general pen testers who also specialize in things maybe like web apps, cloud, or just pure network focused attacks. So what exactly will you learn if you compete in CCD or CPTC, whether that be participating throughout the boot camps and trials or actually making it onto the team? Well, you'll learn a lot of things, but we've kind of organized it into 3-ish categories. First is network penetration testing and methodology. You'll be learning how to attack a network of computers, whether they're running Windows, Linux, Active Directory, a bunch of other things. You'll be learning how to exploit those different OSs, all the different protocols. And finally, you'll be learning the tools that you can use to help perform your engagement. Next, you'll be learning some of the web app methodology. So this is attacking all of the different applications you can find on the internet. You'll be learning how to fuzz an endpoint to try to get the web app to do something it's not intended to, maybe leak some information, inject some code or any malicious data to try to, again, maybe have it run something it's not supposed to and potentially execute code on an arbitrary client. And of course, at the very bottom, you'll be learning how to use probably the most important tool in attacking web apps, Burp Suite. It is a very powerful proxy tool that allows you to intercept any network traffic you send to the web app. And it's just very important to learn. And finally, for the more business-oriented part of the pen testing business, you have to learn how to you have to learn how to write a report in a very proper and in a way that conveys the severity of what you found to your client. And of course, you have to figure out how to interact with your clients in a proper and professional manner, especially if they're not happy with the vulnerabilities you found, or also just important, you must learn how to confess up to a mistake in a professional manner.
All right, awesome. Before we begin with CCDC, I'm Dylan McCallick, the CCDC team captain for next year. Just gonna let everyone know that if you have any questions at any point, feel free to ask. Just raise your hand if you're in person or send a message online. Someone asked, is the boot camp good for people who have little to no IT knowledge and experience? I'd say yes, it's good for people. Sorry, what?
We have a Q&A section.
Yeah, we have a Q&A section at the end. So we will answer, just send any questions you have and we will answer them eventually. But I did want to say, for anyone wondering, this is good for people of all skill levels. We want anyone who has any interest to participate and try and learn as much as they can. So what is CCDC? CCDC is the Collegiate Cyber Defense Competition. Cal Poly Pomona is the current 2 times national runner-up. We placed second at nationals 2 years in a row. The competition, as opposed to CPTC, which is offensive and penetration testing, is more surrounding defensive security, blue teaming, and general like IT skills. It focuses on system administration, incident response, threat hunting, computer networking knowledge, cloud security, and just general host security. Yeah, so completely defensive oriented. There are also a lot of other components to the competition too, though it's not purely just defending an environment. It's also similar to CPTC, somewhat of a business simulation, where you also have to answer business injects, business inquiries from your, I guess, mock company that you're working for, as well as answer pretend customer inquiries and customer questions, and deal with a bunch of stuff in general throughout the whole competition. It's supposed to simulate sort of an IT or like incident response or cybersecurity team, blue team environment in a company. And the whole sort of idea of the competition is you are given a fake company network with a bunch of services running on the network on a bunch of different systems. And you need to defend this network from an active red team while keeping your services up and running for customers to access. Yeah, the build of the team roster is there are 8 people in the main roster and then 4 alternate spots for CCDC. This was the team structure as of the end of this year. This is always subject to change, but as now how we had it set up was the captain is in charge of network security and networking, as well as just other general things. And then we have a business lead who's in charge of making sure the business injects get completed, as those are a really important part of the competition. They're I think 40% of the whole score. We have someone on cloud, which is sort of cloud / Linux, so both things. And then we have a Linux lead with 2 people sort of working on them dedicated to web security. So like database security, as well as the actual security of the web apps themselves. And then we have a Windows lead for Windows host security and a secondary Windows person. Like I said, this is all subject to change, but this is how we currently have the structure set up. Yeah, so there's a lot of things you'll learn in the CCDC bootcamp and CCDC, as sort of the general point of the competition is just to have a very sort of well-rounded, broad knowledge of just computer IT and security in general, in order to defend a company system that you have no clue what it's going to look like for the most part going into the competition. So a lot of services that you'll become familiar with, such as DNS, web apps, SQL databases, cloud environments, access services like SSH or remote desktop, SMB, Active Directory, and a lot of other stuff. And there's also a lot of security tools that you'll become familiar with in order to better secure these environments, such as all these things listed here. So like host level firewalls, network firewalls, VPNs, group policy, fixing like common misconfigurations, resolving common vulnerabilities in host systems, and a lot of other stuff, which sort of goes into the next thing you'll learn, which is general procedures for securing an environment. So network level security, application level security, inventorying a network you have no familiarity with, as well as a lot of other skills. And given that you have no clue what a company environment is going to look like going into the competition, you'll also have to become familiar with a broad variety of Linux operating system flavors, as well as Windows server environments and Windows workstations. So yeah, now we'll get to introducing the current teams.
Yeah.
First for CCDC, it's me. I'm Dylan. That's me right there. I look so happy. Um,
Did you know, by the way, that I put that image there?
yeah, I mean, I saw it when I was looking, when I was going through the slides.
No, I was just curious. And then there's me. Last year I was the threat hunter. So yeah.
Oh yeah, last year I was the secondary Windows security.
Yeah, I guess I should probably elaborate a bit more. I was kind of like the threat hunter, but also a bit of a flex role, more oriented towards Linux stuff. But I also did help out I helped out I helped out do some of the AWS stuff during the regionals.
Yeah, you did a lot of cloud at regionals.
And next we have CPTC. Again, there's me, the captain. I believe Tanai isn't here. He's currently, I believe, in Washington doing, I think, a puzzle for his internship at like Microsoft. And then there's Max. I'm not sure if Max is here.
Max, are you here?
Oh, he is. Cool.
Oh, he's here. Awesome.
What's up?
Yeah, there's Max. He did a lot of the cloud stuff. We kind of just threw him into it because we weren't expecting AWS, but he pulled through, and then he did a lot of research during the time between regionals and globals, and it was definitely very helpful. So yeah.
All right. So our agenda for today is pretty straightforward. We're going to go over the goals for the boot camp over these next 7 weeks or so, the timeline for the boot camp, and then finally we're going to go over how tryouts are going to work, as well as some testimonials and some stuff our alumni want to share.
Yeah.
Want to do boot camp objectives?
Sure.
Right.
Okay. So these are the boot camp objectives. It's a pretty short slide, just 3 things, but these are all very important things that hopefully you'll gain from this boot camp. So first is learning to learn. So throughout this boot camp, you'll come to realize that we'll be teaching you a lot of things and expecting a lot of things out of you from with a very short amount of time. You'll be learning a new thing every week, and all of that will eventually compound into the final trials. And so you kind of have to learn how to learn about a new and pretty complex topic, pretty complex group of topics. And thus, with the short amount of time, you'll have to learn how to do that efficiently and independently, since we won't always be there to teach you everything that we expect from you. You'll have to learn how to research on your own and push yourself further. Of course, you can always ask questions, and we indeed encourage you to ask questions, whether to us or especially to your peers, which goes on to the second objective. Hopefully from this boot camp, you'll be able to build some team skills. You'll be surrounded by a bunch of people, a bunch of like-minded people who share an interest in cybersecurity, whether that be offensive or defensive. And thus, you should really take the time to talk to other people, ask around, especially if you need help, since someone may have an idea that you weren't thinking about at the time. And it's much faster to learn something by just communicating with another person than just bashing your head into a wall, looking stuff on Google, and then struggling for about 3 hours. Definitely not speaking from experience of it. And finally, preparing for the future. Hopefully, from this bootcamp, whether you're already experienced in the different fields of cybersecurity or you're brand new, hopefully you'll learn something, well, new from the bootcamps. Hopefully you can take something away, whether that be new things that you can research, just new information that you've learned from us.
All good, so like we both see it. So neither of us can see it.
Got it.
I got it.
Oh,
Or just having people who are now like-minded, or rather knowing people who are like-minded and having someone you can talk to whenever you're stuck on something. All of these objectives is stuff that we hope you take away from these boot camps.
all right. So now we're going to go onto the boot camp timeline for both of them. So basically, how it's laid out is every Saturday we have a CPTC and a CCDC bootcamp meeting. Okay. The CPTC one is 10 to 12, and then CCDC is 1 to 4. He'll explain sort of the layout for CPTC, but for CCDC, the next week is going to be our business week, where we'll go over business injects, which can range anywhere from technical injects asking you to set up a service on the company network to just answering a question for business executives. And the next week we'll be going over networking, so host level firewalls, router networking. That's mostly what we do. Yeah, host level firewalls and just like how to configure a router, and how to configure basic, I guess, network settings on a host system. And then we'll go into our Linux security week, which will just be common Linux services and Linux operating system misconfigurations. And then we'll be going over Windows security the following week on August 10th, which is going to be a lot of Active Directory security, group policy, and things relating to that, common Windows vulnerabilities, Eternal Blue, that sort of stuff. And then finally, we'll go over common services. So that is a very wide variety of things, but we're going to be going over the most common, like databases, web stacks, remote access tools, and other things that we see a lot during the competition. And then finally, after the CPTC tryouts, so 2 weeks from our last meeting, we'll have our CCDC tryouts that weekend.
Yeah, and for CPTC, as you can see, it starts at a much earlier time from 10 to 12. And during the boot camps, we'll first introduce you to what exactly pen testing is, why it's a career, how you can get into it, and just a bunch of general things that you might want to know before getting into the actual meat of the boot camps, which is going to be attacking things like web apps or the different operating systems. July 27th, again, we'll be talking about attacking web apps. So again, random things you find, applications you find on the internet. Then for August 10th and August 17th, we'll be attacking the different operating systems, first being Linux, and then Windows, where you'll learn stuff about Active Directory, along with just general Windows attacks as well. 17th is a very important week, consulting, since again, pen testing is a business. You need to provide business value to your client. You'll be learning about how to write a report properly, along with just how to interact properly with your client. And then finally, you'll have the tryouts on August 24th to 25th. This is a 2-day event where as soon as we give you access, you'll be given access to a network of machines where you need to attack. And ultimately, at the end of the day, provide us a report about what you found, any remediations to what you found, et cetera, et cetera. You're writing a pen testing report. So we'll go over that more during the consulting week.
All right, so this is the team schedule for the actual school year for the actual teams. Usually what will happen is we will meet once a week for practice on Saturdays, and then we'll have sort of as needed research and work meetings where we work together on stuff that needs to get done outside of that. And then several times throughout the school year, we have competition weekends. So during November, December, we have the CCDC invitationals. These are only a day long each. And I think they're on the Saturdays during those months usually. And then we have our regional qualifiers second semester at the start of February. And then we have our regional finals. And then depending on how we do in regional finals, actually, we'll definitely win regional finals. We have nationals in April.
And then for CPTC, we really only have 2 major events. First, regionals, and that's pretty close up in November. And then once you make it past that, in January of next year, you have globals.
All right. You want me to do this?
Sure. I think it's
All right, so these are just the tryout dates for CPTC or CCDC. If you would like to try out to join the teams, CPTC is August 24th and 25th, and CCDC is the 31st and 1st. I believe that we tried to do it this year so they wouldn't conflict with move-in dates for people who are moving into campus. So hopefully everyone that wants to try out should have an opportunity to. I believe there's 2 tryouts
For which one?
for CCDC, right?
Yes.
Usually, yeah, okay. We're gonna do 2 tryouts, so if you can't make the Saturday one, there's also gonna be one Sunday. So if you can't make one day, you should be able to do the other one. So hopefully everyone who wants to try out can make these dates.
That is specifically for CCDC, since CCDC, it's, I think, a 1 to 5, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, so a 4-hour event each day. But for CPTC, it goes throughout the entirety of both days. So yeah, unfortunately, if that does align on something, there's not much we can really do about it, unfortunately. I guess you could reach out to us and maybe we can arrange something, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and then for, I don't know, do we have a slide explaining the formats of the tryouts or?
I believe so, but I believe
Okay,
once we get
so-
closer, once
right.
we get closer to the actual slides, we'll
Okay, for sure. So we have some selection requirements for the teams. Some things you just need to be in order to be able to join the teams. For CCDC, you have to be a full-time CVP student, I think for both the fall and spring semesters.
believe so.
Or there's like some, what, yeah. And then you have to be in good academic standing, so hopefully above a 2.0 GPA. And then you have to stand out during the boot camp, and we'll go over some ways that we grade and evaluate performance during the boot camp in a little bit.
And then for CPTC, you again have to be a CPP student full-time. But since it only really happens since all of the events happen very early, you only have to be a full-time for fall 2024. I believe you can graduate that December and you can still compete. And again, you still have to have good academic standing and of course stand out during the boot camps and tryout process.
All right, so this is the grading rubric for CCDC. The first thing is we have weekly homeworks that are assigned after the meetings. That's going to be 40% of the grade. There's 10% of it is attendance, so just showing up to these meetings and being here is a pretty significant part of the grading. And then finally, we have tryouts, which for CCDC is going to be a red versus blue style competition where you'll be blue teaming.
And next for CPTC, homework is 25% of the grade, which is a lot smaller than CCDC, but it's still very important to do your homework. Next, you have attendance, 10% again, teamwork. This is really just talking to other people, helping them out whenever they need help. So again, I do encourage you guys to chat with each other, since I guess technically you are being graded on it, but you also do learn a lot when just chatting with other people. I mean, that's how I met Dylan, just hanging out in a voice call. That was fun. And then finally, we have tryouts, that being 55% of your grade. And as I said before, you're given a network of machines, you attack it, yada, 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 write a report, and done.
Want to do this?
Sure. So for the boot camps, to actually succeed in the boot camps, you need to be involved. You should be asking questions whenever you're stuck and helping out other people whenever you can. You need to take notes on things we teach you and, of course, research anything that we hint at or anything that is related to whatever we teach, just to get a bit more familiarity with it, since it might be important for either the homework or even the trial itself. You need to stay organized, be on time, that sort of thing. Google questions whenever you're stuck, and also ask other people. Work well in a team, since, well, the competitions are a team, and it is very important to know how to interact well with a team. And of course, the most important is have a growing mindset. If you haven't touched this before, you're learning something new. You're learning something that's very, very diverse and broad, and that may be difficult. But as long as you have a growing mindset, you can push through.
All right, so now we're gonna, are they gonna speak? Yeah, so some of our former competitors are gonna speak about some of their experiences and some stuff they want to share.
So Evan, I think right now is unfortunately in the other room.
Should I go? You want to get it?
Yeah, if you want to get him. He's trying to fix something with the student data center. I believe our storage NAS is
We are walking over.
okay, cool. Yeah,
Awesome.
it's having an interesting moment, so they're trying to fix it. At least we're trying to fix it. We had to modify the homework a little bit, but you guys aren't missing much, at least for the homework.
It's easier now.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll just wait for a bit because they should be here any second.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm Evan. I was last year's CCDC captain, and before that, I think Gabe is here. He was the year before me. We pretty much have the same exact resume, almost down to everything to high school. Everything after high school and the high school is the same. We both did CCDC, ended
I
second
didn't choose
nationally. Now we work at Boeing as system engineers. Prior to being system engineers, we were information system security engineers. And something I'll say about the boot camps is it will start with a business week. Don't be turned away by boring business work. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
thanks.
Jess. It's probably one of the most important parts. A lot of times people aren't able to communicate clearly through emails and try to like explain technical topics in meetings and everything like that, and they can't do it. And our first week of boot camp typically teaches you how to write in clear, concise manner, which is very useful for the competition, very useful for real life. It's probably the most beneficial thing you can get out of this. After that, all the technical stuff is very good. We try to get everyone on the same footing to where you can try out, do well, and actually have something to show for yourself after the boot camp, even if you don't make on the teams, right? In general, the competition's very good for meeting people on campus, making friends. You know, after CCDC meetings, we typically go out for lunch or dinner. And yeah, competitions are a good time, very stressful, but it'll make the real world seem very easy. If you have questions for me, you can ask too, because I've been through a lot at this school.
That's a crazy statement.
But yeah, Jess can lead off next, and then we can just talk about things happening.
Hi, my name is Jess. I was the business lead the last 2 years that we won, or we were second place. Sorry, that kind of still hurts a little bit. And I'm an incoming security analyst at SpaceX, and I was a member of CCDC for the past 3 years. And since Evan covered all the like educational things about the bootcamp, I think the most important takeaway is just like the fact that the bootcamps really push you to kind of exceed your limit. Because when I was coming into Cal Poly, like I knew about CCDC, like that's why I chose this school, right? Like I knew about the cyber program, like Swift and stuff like that, but I just wasn't involved. And on the flip side, Gabe and I were like entering Cal Poly at the same time. We were friends before, and this guy went and tried out. He was on the team already, and I was like looking at how much development he had, and I was like, damn, I'm really behind. And so I had to try out the next year, right? That already put me a year behind Gabe, right? And when I was going through boot camps, I was still working like full time. So I was driving, like commuting 2.5 hours to work and then back. And then I still had to do boot camps. So it's like, if you think you're busy, there's always time to do it, right? If you really want to do it, there's always time for CCDC. And I think if I kind of just like gave up there, I think my career would have just stopped. Like I would have just been working at the same company. I wouldn't change, like none of my progressions would happen after that. But then through CCDC, I met all these really cool people. Like Evan said, we always get food after. Usually it's dinner, and usually it's like really late dinner because we end up just talking like the whole day, even after practice is over. So if you want to make lifelong friends and stuff, really, really like persevere through this, push yourself, know like what you can achieve, right? I think it really helps a lot.
Yeah, make sure to budget more of your money towards eating out.
Oh, yeah. I think like my main expense the past like 3 years was food, and it's literally because of this team. But
Alright, so hi, my name is Derek. I was on the competition teams for the past two years. I've started off on CPTC in 2022 and pivoted over to CCDC in 2023. Kind of just piling on to the points that Evan and Jess already went on with. If it wasn't for these competition teams, I would never have been considered for any of the opportunities that I've gotten before in the past, between the dozens of interviews and the actual internship that I had over the past summer. So yeah, join the teams. It's really tough too, but you make some really good friends through it. There's what do you call it? There's a lot of people on the current team and in the past teams who I consider to be some of my best friends, and I've only ever met them through being involved in the boot camps. My only regret for both teams is that I didn't join the team sooner so I can beat these people sooner. So I will say having the perspective of competing on both teams, and if you guys are interested in trying to make a decision between should I try to make one team over the other, I'm not going to really help you on that because I'm going to say join both. They're both really fun. I always thought that CPTC was going to be my calling just because it's the offensive side of things. And I thought, oh, hey, this is the stuff that I actually want to do. So this is the one I'm going to work towards. But if it wasn't for Evan nagging me last year to join CCDC, I was like, do I really want to do this? Sure, I guess. But yeah, that became a very strong, resounding yes afterwards because I learned how much fun CCDC can be as well. So I'll say try out for both teams. Both competitions super fun. You get to make some really cool friends along the way.
Awesome. Oh, this one.
Hello? Is my mic working? Oh, can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I didn't time that very well, it would appear. 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds for the transition. All right, note to self, that's for the future. Anyways, hi. I'm Dylan Tran, or Nigerald on Discord if you've seen me around. And I'm going to be a senior majoring in CIS. I'm currently 1,500 miles away from campus, so I have the benefit of being on Zoom right now and reading from a script. So yeah, I'm not going to really build off of what anyone else said. I'm just going to say whatever I wrote here. Anyways, yeah, so right now I'm currently a returning intern with IBM on their adversary services team within their X-Force Red, which is like their offensive security consulting. And I write malware and hide inside the networks of Fortune 500 companies. So my perspective on, well, before I even give my perspective on the boot camps, I'll give some context since unlike the first two speakers here, my story is a little different and much more recent than theirs. I've been doing the comp since I started in Cal Poly in the fall of 2021. So I graduated high school, got linked to the summer boot camps on Zoom, and then I just kind of hopped in because I had nothing else to do. I had zero knowledge coming in, which a lot of you might find yourself in that position. I've never touched it up until that point. I never touched a terminal, never really considered it. I thought security was kind of boring because to me it seemed like a bunch of clicking buttons. And to me, like, why would I want to do that? That sounds terrible and boring as hell. I was also a hardcore league player, so I didn't like doing anything productive. 12 to 14 hours a day, 4 or 5 years. Yeah, it's yeah, we underperformed. Anyways, all my current success, I owe it to the competitions and the people that I met from competing. Like I said before the summer, I never really considered cyber as a career. And after 2 months of the boot camps, I figured, wow, it's kind of fun and it's a rewarding profession. So now moving into my actual 2 cents on the boot camps. Well, it's a little more than 2 cents, more maybe like $2. I don't know. These boot camps, I being involved with them for the past 4 years, 3 years, I'm pretty biased, but I think they're pretty nice. And there's a whole lot of work that goes into them. And the reason why I do think they're nice is not just because we're trying to put something, we're trying to teach people, but it's because they give you a look into security from both a technical standpoint, so you get to learn and you get to learn for free, aside from your time, but you also get to look into security from a career standpoint. And what I mean by this is you get to see how much work and learning is involved with this career. I mean, personally, I didn't think of jobs much more than 9 to 5 when I was kind of going out of high school, or if you're into that whole business side hustle thing, but that's not my thing. Uh, I thought jobs were just jobs, but I found security to be a little more than that. Based on how much work and learning it was, it's not just a 9 to 5. And I found out that this is something that's really fun. I enjoy security and constantly learning and being challenged with new things and things always changing. And when you go through this boot camp and you end up going through that whole process, you might figure out you like that too, or you might that type of stuff is not for you. I just realized my camera's not on. That's crazy. I prepped my whole camera and everything, got the setup, and I realized I forgot to click the start video. Like, can you all see me? Chat?
Negative. Now we can.
All right, awesome sauce. Wow. Anyways, where was I? Right. It's a whole lot of work. I found out I like doing a whole lot of work and learning because it's fun to me. And if you don't, it is what it is, but hey, you rather figure that out now than later. And the last note on my really long I'm sorry, I just read chat. The last note in my really long tangent here is that even if you don't make the competition teams, but through this bootcamp, you figure like you really want to pursue cyber as a career, either because you enjoyed what you did here, or you just found out that this is something that you might want to do. It's totally fine to not make the teams. I mean, there's a limited spot. I mean, just look how many people are on the call right now, right? There's been people who didn't make the team, but I mean, they still found great success. And there can always be different reasons. Maybe you took the boot camp at a bad time. Maybe you just couldn't invest as much time as you probably you needed to have made the teams, or you have different skill sets that are applicable outside the comps. Because if you haven't gotten the memo already on the comps, they're focused on business and a lot of network stuff. Maybe you don't focus on the network stuff. Maybe you like low level systems things, or you like reverse engineering. Those are very valuable skill sets that you can definitely make a career out of, but they just don't apply as much to the competitions. And it is what it is, right? But even after the boot camp, like people who don't make the teams, they still keep in contact. Just because you're not in the same boot camp doesn't mean that you can't talk to the people that are involved on the teams anymore. We're always available. You can always reach out either for career advice, or if you want to if you're doing a technical project and you want some help, or if you just want to talk for whatever reason. Like, I mean, we're on Discord 24/7. I don't know anybody who's on the team who isn't, except I forgot. Yeah, terminally online, chronically on, whatever the word is. So I feel like I had a concluding statement, but I kind of forgot. So yeah, we should probably move on to the next one. Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Thank you so much, Dylan.
Oh yeah. Since I'm here, I'm gonna call you Mike again.
All right.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll just keep you here, I guess. All right, so now it's time for the Q&A. I guess I can look at the questions on Zoom, but if anyone has any questions here as well, feel free to ask. Yeah, it looks like a lot of them have been answered, actually. Yeah, no, you can do both. There's like, I think,
Yeah.
as you
So-
saw on the teams, he's on both teams. Like,
So let's go. The boot camps, both the actual boot camps and the trats are staggered. So CPTC occurs from 10 to 12, so much earlier. And then there's a 1 hour break before CCDC happens, from 1 to 4. And that happens throughout the rest of the week. And then the tryouts are going to be, I believe, the 24th to the 25th for CPTC. And then the 31st to the 1st of August, or 1st of September for CCDC.
Elias says, I blundered the comps. I only have 10 units next semester. You can still add drop. I'm just saying. There's
Dude, I literally
there's
took
a
every
lot of
single
fun
class.
classes.
I took them all.
I'm
You can
pretty
still
sure.
take like optional classes.
Dude, I'm pretty sure if you're over 21, there's literally like beer and wine tasting classes that are like 3 credits. Like, surely you can do it.
All right, guys, I'm making beer for CCDC or CPTC.
All right. Oh wow, a lot of them are answered. Can I ignore the rubric? Yeah, all right. For sure. All right, so I'll just go start reading the questions for everyone in person. Already answered the little IT knowledge. All right. You are unable to try out and or attend tryouts if you don't attend the school, correct? I think you can try out, you can attend the tryouts, you just won't be able to make the team. And the tryouts are really fun because they're kind of like competition simulations. So if you want to gain just like some sort of introductory competition experience, they're like a really good way to do that. Can I ignore the rubric if I don't go to the school? I mean, I guess. I think it would still be good to focus as like on like doing the homework and actually participating if you do want to get something out of the boot camp, because like they're not just there to like be annoying. Like the whole point is to help you learn things. Sorry, you had a question? Yeah, we're gonna go over the homework after the Q&A. If you have any questions, do you have a question specifically about the homework?
So
You'll get homework graded with comments on it. I don't think we specifically go over it a ton during the actual meetings, as like we don't have a ton of time. But yeah, you will get like grades with like feedback for your homework. Yeah.
You can also always just reach out if you're curious
Oh,
about
yeah.
anything we've graded. So yeah, but you should get pretty detailed feedback at least. So it's a good start.
Yeah, if you have any questions about anything at any point or you're curious, just ask. Yeah. So for the people online, he asked for the tryouts for CCDC, if you'll have direct access to the virtual machines, or you'll have to use like SSH or some like remote access service. I believe for the tryouts, we'll have direct access generally is what we do. Yeah, you'll have access to the hypervisor and the VMs through that. Is this boot camp for credit? Why is it graded? This boot camp is not for actual college credit in terms of like CalPly Pomona and like graduating, as it is run by a bunch of students. But it's graded because, as Dylan Tran responded, it helps us select who makes the team. Let me go back to the slide. Actually, I think we had. Yeah, so we have a team schedule. For both teams, it's a meeting once a week on Saturdays, different times. I actually think the meeting times during the school year line up with the meeting times for boot camp as well, like exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be 10 to 12 for CPTC and 1 to 4 for CCDC mostly every Saturday. And then we also like, as things need to get done, as we need to like prep for competitions, as we like do little practices. We'll also maybe meet like online or in person outside of that, as people are available and as we need to do different stuff like that. And then this is I don't think we have like an official schedule for the school year yet for CCDC. Do we have one for CPTC?
CPTC there technically is.
I think there are schedules for like actual schedules with dates for CCDC and CPTC for the next school year. If you want to look them up, we don't have them in the slides, but invitationals generally fall very close to the end of first semester. And then for CCDC, and then the regional qualifiers, and then regionals, and then nationals are all kind of back to back to back within a few weeks of each other during like the start and middle of second semester.
If you do want to know the CPTC dates, they do post them online at cp.tc. And then it's /overview. I can also announce it right here. So the regional events, I believe, since we're at the later half, it's going to be either November 1st to the 3rd, or I think more likely November 15th to 17th. And then unfortunately for the finals, they don't really post them, but it's usually during winter break or near the end of winter break. So yeah. Yeah, early to mid-January.
All right, so we have another question on Zoom. Ayel, I hope I said that name right, asks 2 questions for the boot camps. Where will they be held? Is it the same place as today, and will Zoom always be an option? For the first part, I believe it will be in this room every week, and yes, Zoom will always be an option if you can't make it in person. Is the link clickable somewhere else? If you're talking, okay, it was sent in chat. If you can't use the QR code for whatever reason, if you weren't able to sign in or access the homework, yeah, just type it in if possible. If not, we can help you access that. Where can I find the recordings from the Zoom meetings? I believe they'll be on the Swift website.
The YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel. Well, are those, is that like on the link tree or?
Yeah.
Okay. We can send it in the chat. We have a link tree for the boot camp, I believe, and we have a YouTube channel where all the recordings from the different meetings will be uploaded if you can't make it for whatever reason.
We also have a more competition team oriented website, scisec.team. You can check that out, and I guess I could write it down. Yeah, and here you can find old recordings along with.
That's where you were already.
I spent $49.
Yeah, I spent 236.
Now,
That's not
you
even
should be-
that's not even that crazy.
that's not that bad, yeah.
Write it bigger.
Expensive.
All right. Oh boy, there's a lot of questions actually. Okay, I'll just keep going through them. Is there, oh my gosh. Okay, you mentioned, okay, so the next question, you mentioned a certain piece of software that you recommend downloading to better learn during the boot camp. What was it? What was the software? Did you mention that? You're going to be downloading a lot of software during the boot camp that will be helpful for learning. So we'll be giving you homework assignments with hopefully pretty detailed instructions for what you'll need to do.
Yeah. I guess organization stuff like Notion or Obsidian.
I
Not
like,
sure what else.
I used to use, I think it's called like game.io or something. It's like it's some like task or like project tracking website where like as you complete your tasks, it gives you like rewards like a video game. That's like, that like gave me a lot of dopamine and like helped me like stay focused. So I like that. I forget what the exact name is. Is this added to your student account? I'm not sure exactly what that means. If you mean, we have a, if you participate in the boot camp and you're a Cal Poly student, you'll have a Canvas page for the boot camp during the time that you're in it, if that's what you're asking. Are graduate students allowed to try out? Yeah, I think graduate students are allowed for CCDC and CPTC. Is there only one team representing each school at competitions?
Yes.
Yes, as Dylan responded. How do I enroll to these summer camps for both teams? Basically just keep attending the Zoom meetings and join and do the sign-in sheets. And if, sorry, what? There will be a sign up for tryouts if you want to try out for the team and participate in tryouts. And also if you, I believe if you've signed up today, you'll be added to the Canvas page for whatever boot camp at boot camps you want to participate in. And then, yeah, the sign-in links were sent in chat, if you don't have access to them. And then, do we have to attend both sessions of, do we have to attend both sessions of the boot camp, or is attending one is fine to try out for one certain team? If you don't want to do, if you only want to do one team, like you're just interested in CCDC or CPTC, it's perfectly fine to just do one boot camp. Honestly, I tried doing both last summer and it was a lot. So I ended up just doing CCDC, but yeah, you can do both or just one or whatever you want.
I would advise doing both though. It is definitely a good experience regardless. Since skills from one competition will help bolster your skills in the other.
Yeah. Also, I personally just think a lot of the CPTC homework, even though I didn't end up being able to try out, it was like really fun. What certs do y'all recommend? I'm debating between CompTIA or Cisco. I don't have any certs, so I'm not recommending any. Does anyone?
Cisco CCNA is pretty good if you want to get into networking. That one is much better than CompTIA's Network Plus, in my opinion. So more hands-on, applicable skills.
I think a generally like the introductory one that a lot of people do is Security Plus, CompTIA Security Plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't done any certs yet, you just want to try and do one.
And then there's the BTL one. That one's more expensive, but it's more hands-on oriented. So that teaches you a lot of like IR skills. But it's more like a lab oriented stuff. So you have like a Splunk instance and stuff like that. If you're interested in that, I recommend that over the Security Plus if you want to learn like applicable skills.
Yeah, and I guess for some more offensive security stuff, for more web app focused stuff, I believe Portswigger has their own certification. And from what I've heard, that one's really good. Their academy is free and you can access a lot. I think you can access most, if not all, of their labs. And that's pretty good practice. You have stuff like CRTO, which is going to be more focused on red teaming and attacking Windows Active Directory. CRTO, by the way, is the Certified Red Team. Oh, yeah, I think. Wow, I cannot remember the. Yes, Certified Red Team Operator or something.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And then finally, you have the really expensive one, OSCP, which is the Offensive Security Certified Professional. That one I think covers both Windows and Linux. It's very expensive, but it is a very good, I guess, things that interviewers look for. Not too sure about its value. I know Dylan has it.
I have it. I also have endless complaints about it. From a learning standpoint. But if you want something to get through HR and you want something that everybody knows in the industry and is effectively looking out for, and it is effective, it is the standard for offense, any position related to offense security, whether it be penetration testing, whether it be application security on an internal team. It's just it's everywhere.
Oh, which ones? Oh,
CRTO?
CRTO.
Yeah. CRTO and then OSCP. Both of those are offensive focused.
And then the one I mentioned was BTL1. And then Evan mentioned CCNA. Why are you so smart?
All right, the next question from Zoom is being a US citizen mandatory to join CPTC?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think so. What was the Cisco? Oh wow. What was the Cisco?
Taylor.
What was the Cisco? CCNA. Another person asked about where they can find the recording. Like I said, it should be on our YouTube as well as the link tree in scisec.team.
Look up like Swift, CCDC, CPTC bootcamp, like you'll see it.
Yeah, and I believe we have a Discord for the bootcamp too. So if you need any links for anything or you can't find some sort of resource that we talked about, just send a message there and we'll send it to you. Are the Zoom meetings a big part because I have worked during some of the meeting dates? Yeah, it's completely fine if you can't make a couple of the meetings. Like obviously attend as many as you can. But honestly, the most important part is actually the homework and sort of participating and being communicative during the boot camp overall, as opposed to attending every single meeting. So although I think they are important, if you can't make a couple because of work, I think it's still very much worth it to participate and try out. And like we've said, the recordings will be online, so you can get all the information from that. Dylan says you'll be heavily behind / confused. Hopefully not. I think we can help you if you have any questions and you can make the meetings. Do you recommend attending the meetings online or in person? I would really like it if you came in person, just because like I'm coming in person and it's like fun to have people here. But if you can't make it in person, online is also fine. Will you post these slides in the session on the Discord? It also, for those of us who are slow learners, do you recommend doing one bootcamp rather than both? I would say if you're interested in both, just try both of them. And then if you decide you can't like handle the workload, just stick with the one that you're enjoying more. In terms of the slides in the session, like I've said, it will be posted on the different links we've sent, and probably will also be shared in the Discord. Is there a WireGuard version of the VPN? No. I think you can use PryTunnel or OpenVPN for the VPN config.
Are they having issues with PryTunnel? Is that one?
The one to log in to homework is OpenVPN. Yeah, I would just use OpenVPN or PryTunnel personally.
Any client that supports OpenVPN profiles.
Yeah.
And if you have trouble accessing any of our like homework and stuff like that, just DM us on Discord.
Yeah, please.
Oh, not really, but it's only a preference.
Oh, okay.
Okay. On average, how long do the homework assignments take? Yeah, like Dylan says, it's very dependent on your knowledge. If you have no knowledge, it might take a lot of sort of research and asking questions. But if you're already more familiar with these things, some of them should be pretty quick. I will say some weeks' homeworks are definitely longer than others, and especially what comes to mind is I remember some of the like Windows boxes last year for the CPTC homework took me like forever, just because I had never done any sort of like pen testing or like offensive security stuff at all, and it was like really difficult, but still like a lot of fun, just like learning how to do that from like scratch. They should be, I think the homeworks in general should be like a couple hours per week.
And like even if you're already familiar, you like have heard of or like are kind of familiar with the topic that the homework's asking about, don't just go off of like your knowledge. Still like research it and try to like give us a really detailed answer, because we can tell when people are just like using the first link they found on Google and like kind of just summarizing it and stuff, and we don't really appreciate that because we're taking a lot of time to grade your homework and we want to make sure that you actually understand what you're writing down.
Yeah, like for the people not in the Zoom call, Dylan Tran said, I remember when I first tried out, one of the assignments was to set up Active Directory domain and a WordPress site. It took me 10 hours. So it can vary. It can vary.
Yeah, gonna add on a little more to that, because this is something I forgot to talk about during my really long tangent. So I'm gonna add on to that now, like 20 minutes later. It's that coming in from high school, I had a whole lot, as a person who got good grades and passed everything through procrastination, I thought this was something that you could just, oh, the homework's due in like 2 hours. Yeah, I'll just hash it out right now. Definitely not something you can, definitely not a practice that you should do, and I like everyone always says that, but it really was cemented in for me during these boot camps when I realized, wow, within 2 hours I have nothing accomplished because I don't know what I'm doing and I can't follow a guide properly because I'm just trying to rush everything and so on and so forth. Honestly, the homework, it is difficult, it is meant to challenge you, but it's through that challenge where you're going to learn a lot of things by doing all the wrong things and then figuring out the right things like that. But also, you don't need to do the homework alone And I'm saying that with like a little wild card at the end of it, in that like, yes, you still have to submit, like if you plan on trying out and such, you have to submit the homework on your own and such. But if you need help, you can ask someone. There's been times where there's been people hop on to the Discord channels and they're just tossing back and forth, like, how'd you do this part? Or like, what's your issue? And there's multiple people working on the homework and trying to figure it out. It's not necessarily like, oh, here, copy and paste this huge block of command. Like I made a autopone script to finish the homework, but it's more, a collaborative effort almost. Like at the end of the day, you're still submitting your own deliverable, but you don't necessarily need to struggle alone through all of this. Like there's other people doing the boot camps, and all of us are here and available.
Yeah.
But don't cheat.
Yeah, don't do that. What I did to some success, I think, when I did the boot camps was, I knew that I didn't have like a ton of background knowledge and that I might not be able to finish it, and I didn't want to spend like multiple days like trying to finish a homework. So I would be like, okay, I will set like 6 hours max that I can work on this homework on this day, and I'll just turn in whatever I have at the end of that time, so that I didn't end up spending like with both boot camps like my entire week just like trying to figure out how to get like a privilege escalation on like some box. Next question, do I just bring a laptop to the in-person sessions, and will we be using the equipment at the lab there? Yeah, if you're attending in person, you should bring your laptop. We'll be using the student data center and virtual machines on that a lot. And you'll need some sort of piece of computer technology to be able to connect to that. Next question, what is the equipment specs required at home to do the homework? I think all the work is pretty much, since it's done on the student data center and you're remotely connecting to virtual machines not hosted on your computer, you don't really need that good of a laptop or computer to do it. I've, for the entire past year, used like an 8-year-old like Windows laptop where like the like mouse button on it doesn't even work anymore. It has like 4 gigabytes of RAM. And honestly, like that was good enough. So I don't think you need anything crazy. I don't have like exact specs, unfortunately. Can you put the homework link in chat? Someone do that already? I don't think so. Can someone type the homework link in chat? We'll put the homework link in chat for people that want to click on.
Seem the URL shortener isn't short enough.
That's the whole point of a URL shortener.
Yeah, we made the link so short so you could type it in.
Well, it's easy to type.
It's better than docs.google.com/a_x.
That's not my DAGD.
Someone asked, what was the recommendation for cert instead of CompTIA Security Plus again? And Dylan said BTL 1. Yeah, I don't know. Do you want to elaborate on that at all?
I can talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend it over the Security Plus if you're looking to actually like learn, because even though the exam itself isn't like super difficult, it still guides you through a lot of like the skills that you need to do like IR work, and it's like a very hands-on exam, and it also comes with a lot of material, so you get like a full course with labs and everything that walks you through a bunch of like different tools that you might need to learn, like Splunk, walks you through like what else, a bunch of stuff. But on the flip side, like Security Plus feels more like a memorization type exam. So I think like BTL is a lot more applicable, and it definitely like a lot of the skills that I learned in the course I've used in my like job before. The only caveat is it's more expensive, and Security Plus is more well recognized within the industry. So you know the pesky little HR people, sorry, HR love to see Security Plus because that's the thing that they're familiar with, and they're like, oh, you have Security Plus, you know how to do security. But I would say that the skills don't really transfer as well as the BTL 1 does. So if you do well on the interview, it will probably be resulting of BTL 1 and not Security Plus.
All right. I guess next question, are CCDC and CBTC clubs like Fast and Swift? No, they're competition teams under the school. It kind of ends up happening that I think a lot of people on both teams are involved in Swift, and that just sort of tends to happen
Wait.
when you.
You can legally say that Swift owns the
Oh.
clubs. The teams.
Oh, okay, we did. Okay, Swift owns the clubs, but you don't
The-
have.
the teams.
You can- Or the
So-
team, Swift owns the teams,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
CCDC and CPTC are managed and sponsored by Swift.
Yeah, okay. You don't necessarily have to be previously involved in Swift or be involved in Swift to be on the teams. But they do, I guess, are managed by Swift.
The FAST president last year was on our team as well. It really doesn't matter. It's not the prerequisite or anything. It just happens that Swift was the one who like managed the teams.
Where and when can we turn in the homework for grades if not student? Will non-students have access to the Canvas?
We didn't have a solution for that last year. You just
Send it in
to us.
Discord.
If you
Yeah.
if you are not a student at Cal Poly Pomona and you want feedback and your homework to be graded, send it on Discord, like you said. Yeah.
Specifically send it to like captains or members. Please don't just send it in the public Discord.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, please don't send your homework solutions to the general chat in the Discord. And if someone does, don't just like copy and paste that. Which club would you recommend better? I'm gonna have to say Swift. I think objectively. No, just whatever. And like I said, it's managed by Cal Poly Swift, but like whatever club you want to become involved in, they're both like really good for a lot of reasons. I think that's all the questions.
Do we have any more questions?
Wait, so if we don't make it onto the team, like what do we do? Like we just like are background characters for like the rest of the year or what?
Yeah, you're just like NPCs until you make the team.
Crazy. But we
No,
can
I'm kidding. I'm
still-
kidding.
Oh, okay. Fair.
A lot of programs built.
So boot camps aren't like the end of the world for you or for anyone who can't make it to the tryouts or boot camp meetings. We have competitions over spring and fall, so definitely keep an eye out for that. And there's also general meetings and workshops for Swift that will teach you all of these things. So, well, also there's NCAE and Cyberforce. I think Ryan and there's some people in the room and chat who are part of that competition. That competition is more focused on introduction, like it's like a more introduction competition. So if you don't make it to the team, then you could try out for NCAE and Cyberforce.
Okay, so there's still other stuff we can do. We don't just like fade away. Like good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on a little to that response if you don't mind. So prepare for like another 5-minute tangent.
Beautiful, can't wait.
So if you don't, and let's just say you also don't make the NCAA or Cyberforce or what, or you don't get anything that you necessarily want, right? It's definitely not the end of everything. Security is effectively what you make for it. If you miss one opportunity, another opportunity sort of opens up, right? If you don't make the competition teams, but that still means all the time that you will have invested in there, you still have available. So now you can just do a bunch of self-learning. You still have access to all of us. So if you want to reach out and say, hey, what should I learn? Or if you're digging into something and you want to know how can you go further because you don't know what you don't know, right? You could just reach out for us. We'll give you pointers. We'll give you labs or stuff that we're aware of. And you can continue your learning and either try again next year or just completely be on your own and like self-learn all the way through. People have gone that route, or try out and become a board member and give back to the community for any of the other security clubs that exist on campus. There are still a lot of things that you can do in competitions. It's just like one of them.
Okay, absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. So, like, just run it back. Go next year if you don't make it, and there's tons of other things. Thank you.
Another question Philip asks, how do we turn in the homework if we are students? If you signed in to the sign-in form at the start of the meeting, and it's also in the chat, you should be added to the Canvas page. So you should be able to access the CCDC and or CBTC Canvas pages as if you would access like a normal class Canvas.
There's no section to put in.
There's no email?
Yeah, to print like CPP email. So we have to send out another one.
We're gonna send out another form. Apparently this one
For-
didn't
for
ask for
CCDC.
the CPP email for CCDC.
It says it on like the description. But
Oh,
there's
but
no-
there's no,
there's no,
Can we
like,
just update the
input.
form?
yeah, we could just update.
Okay, we're gonna update the form. You should be able to access
like-
the same form we had at the start and just send your, just resubmit it, this time with your email. We need your Cal Poly email in order to add you to the Canvas. And if somehow, within like the next couple days, you're not added to the Canvas, just reach out to any of us directly. And we can get you added. It happened. Wait, surely the email's in there, right?
Exactly the same way. What happened last time? Where'd it go? I never had to follow the
He asked for the Discord handle, but not the email. All right. Do we update the? That's our bad. Which form are you updating? The CCDC one, same link. It should be the same link
Yeah.
as
Send it again.
the one that we had at the start. It's gonna be sent in chat again. We're updating it right now, so don't, so if you click on it right now and it's not there, just like wait a couple minutes and try again.
Yeah, it was literally, it's
You guys
literally in
can
the
go over
description,
Camino?
but it's not there.
I guess can go over like.
I mean, that's what the homework is. All right, is it updated?
Should be.
Oh shit, I have to.
Yeah, can you send the link?
If you filled
It'll
out
probably
the
be
form,
different,
can
right?
you try to fill it out again?
Yeah, so sorry. We're gonna send
Wait,
it.
do they have an option to go back and edit, or should we just trash this?
No, you can't put both.
Because we don't trash the email. So they can't go back and edit.
I don't know if that's gonna be the same.
It will be. If it goes to the same form.
Reach out to
It's just.
All right, should we just send a new link to the Discord?
Yeah.
All right,
It's the same thing.
are you sure it's the
Just
same link?
send an announcement saying that.
Okay, we're gonna send out the link in the chat with the updated form where you can put in your Cal Poly email. And we're also gonna send it in the Discord. So if you already filled out the CCDC sign-in, please fill it out
You gotta remake
again.
it.
You gotta remake it.
You have to remake the link.
Wait, no, it works.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, scroll down.
All right.
on the
Well, I think that was the last question. That's awesome. Yeah, okay, so it's the same link.
Just fill it out again.
Just refill out the form. If you're not a Cal Poly student, you don't have to resubmit. Yeah, no, because you can't be added to the Canvas.
L.
RIP, I guess. All right. I guess we'll move on to the homework. If anyone has any questions about the homework link that was on the last slide, we want to go over that. Go back to that and go over the homework really quick. Oh boy. I'll briefly show the homework now, I guess. I can't see the, I can't. This is horrible.
Yeah, which
I'm
one's
leaking.
the sign in or the?
I'm leaking.
Yeah. Which one did you need?
Bootcamps 24 week 1. Wonderful.
Okay, yeah, we'll send the CDG stuff. Yeah. I told you. Yes, it's okay, I can find it. Don't want to just increment it, because then people just pull it out. We have to cross check. And that's annoying. People are just gonna start ignoring.
All right, so CCDC and CPTC both have the same homework for the first week. You just have to submit this one to which canvas are we doing?
Both.
Yeah, submit this homework to each of the canvases that you're participating in. So if you're in both boot camps, just submit it to both. If you're in one, just submit it to the one that you're doing.
I sent it on Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on the Zoom call or? Okay, I'll write it down.
Does anyone here in person still need the link for the homework to access? Okay. It's being written on the whiteboard right now.
Can you read it out?
Yeah, it's boot camp 24 week 1.
No,
is the sign.
the CPTC sign it.
Oh.
DQI, no, lowercase.
DQ, lowercase?
Yeah, lowercase I,
They're all
uppercase S,
S.
uppercase A. 4. This marker is horrible. Use the
You can just write it under.
That's a 1. That's the link for the homework if you missed it. The homework for this week is pretty straightforward. You need to download a VPN client, and you need to set up the SDC VPN on your VPN client so you can connect to the Cal Poly Pomona Student Data Center. And you'll have to submit some sort of proof that you're able to access the elsa.stc.cpp. And then we have several deliverables that we want you to give. We want you to explain what a VPN is, what a virtual machine is, and also do some research and explanation on the zero login exploit. This is due Friday, right, Marshall?
Saturday at 5 a.m.
Oh, okay. This is due Saturday at 5 a.m. If you're up till 5 a.m. Friday night. But
We put so much
You want to ask Gabe why 5 a.m.? That's why. You can ask Gabe why 5 a.m.
if anyone has any questions about the homework at this point, feel free to ask. You could also just like get started on it now. I think the first part's pretty straightforward and can probably be done in like the next like
I do prefer that. over
30 minutes. So yeah, if you want to get started on the homework now, in case you have any questions. So we're still here to answer your questions if you have any. That might be good.
If we are not a student of Cal Poly, do we just send the homework to one of the captains?
Yeah, if you are not a Cal Poly student and you do want your homework graded, send it to one of the captains on Discord.
Okay.
And we'll give you feedback for your homework submission.
Gabe, you want to explain why 5 a.m. on Saturday?
5 a.m. Saturday, Pacific Standard Time. Just happens to be the last possible time to by Friday somewhere on it. So as long as it's where you are at, it's still Friday. I just happens to be the
It's like, oh shoot, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I need to finish this homework. And if you have issues like meeting homework deadlines, just let us know ahead of time. Like usually we're pretty nice about it. Just let us know.
Also, we have soda in the front. You guys want soda?
Actually, just really quickly, I'm gonna go over like I guess what we expect from like homework submissions. Like there's gonna be like specific deliverables and like questions we want you all to answer on the homework. Try and be as thorough and like demonstrate as much understanding as possible. Please like answer questions in like full sentences. Try and make it more of like a report than just like taking notes on something. We're going to go over it. This is kind of the reason we go over it. We do business week 1 is because it's sort of really important context for how you're not only like business injects within the competition, but how you should be writing and doing and sort of delivering everything that you do during the boot camp. So yeah, just make sure to meet the requirements and read it carefully, make sure you're answering everything, and also make it as presentable and readable as possible. So hopefully it's easier for us to grade. Yeah, if anyone has any questions at any point, we're going to be here for a little bit longer. I'll leave the Zoom meeting open in case people have questions to answer. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main portion of the meeting today. Anyone else want to say anything? Any more questions? I don't think there's more questions. Cal Poly Pomona student, I'm assuming, and you haven't downloaded and connected. I'm assuming, and you haven't downloaded and you haven't connected to Canvas yet. You just log in with your Cal Poly Pomona single sign-on login through either the mobile app or the web app, and then as long as you gave us your correct student email, it should be the CCDC and or CBTC Canvas page should pop up in your homepage pretty soon.
It wouldn't work right now because obviously we still need some time to like actually enroll you in the course. So
Yeah, no one's been added yet. Wait a little bit.
do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we're free to help with the homework if anyone has any questions or need help with anything. Feel free to ask.
Everyone asks what is CPTC and what is CCDC, but they never ask how is CPTC and how is CCDC. How are you doing, Mike and Mung?
I am a CPP student. Don't have
So like if you just have you been on Canvas before?
Oh, here I'll unmute this for you. If you want to talk, you can unmute.
Ayel?
Hello.
Hello, have you accessed Canvas at all before?
Yeah, I've accessed it. I just don't see what you guys are talking about on the like to get the assignments and all that stuff. So I was just asking about that.
Right. So we still have to add everyone's Cal Poly email, like so that you get the Canvas like page on your Canvas home screen. So we haven't added anyone yet, so no one can access it as of now. But you'll be added at some point during this week before the due date.
Okay, and do I just give you my email or like how you guys know to find me?
Yeah, so did you fill out the sign-in form?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you fill out once or twice?
I filled out both of them. I filled out the let me see, go back. I just found out both of the ones you guys sent, yeah.
Gotcha. Could you fill out the the CCDC one again, just in case?
Okay. Okay, cool. All right, appreciate it.
Mhm.
Do you know what you're doing? Oh yeah, Dylan was. Oh, by the way, Dylan, I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking.
No, I don't care anymore. The window is closed, Mike.
Can I just put the sign-up sheet back on the screen share because I can still have it? Thank you, everyone that's still here for attending. We're gonna end the meeting now. If you have any more questions, reach out to the two Discord handles that we send in chat. And we'll see you all next week.